Good evening, Carew and Nikki. It is Wednesday, April 18th, not August 18th. I just finished watching your video, Carew, so I'm going to make a quick response here. First of all, I'm going to start with the thing about the article from Slate that I talked about. And actually, what happened there was I had read the article the night before, and I just wanted to take a quick video of the sunrise, and I ended up talking about the article. And, why did I read the article? I'm not sure, quite honestly. But it's interesting because I talked to Sarah about it afterwards, and I kind of said to myself, I need to find some other online news and analysis site, because Slate's just driving me crazy because, this last couple weeks there's been like a dozen articles about television shows that I don't care about. And just, it's just like nothing on there that I want to read. And I used to enjoy reading it, but the other thing is that it's all very New York centric. So, everybody who writes for it lives in New York City, and they tend to be young, kind of hipster type people. I don't know, that's not completely true, but there's a broad age range. But, they're all from New York, and it's like the whole vibe and the whole discussion revolves around New York City, and it just drives me crazy. I'm probably going to try to find another site to read, even though I've been reading Slate for a few years now. And it's probably just out of habit more than anything. It's funny because we got Newsweek magazine ever since we've been married, and this last year we stopped getting it. I just in 2012, Sarah's parents always gave it to us as a present, and we told them, stop getting it for us. It's just I can't read it anymore. It's just annoying. It's run by the Huffington Post, I think, or Ariana Huffington, and it's just too, I don't know what it is about it, but I just find it annoying, and I look through it and there's nothing I want to read. Actually just today I was trying to figure out what other sites I could look at. If you have ideas, let me know. You made some smart alecky comment about women liking to come home and be spanked, women who are dominant in their fields. And it's interesting because I read an article, and this wasn't on Slate, online, about this book called 50 Shades of Grey, which is apparently a indie author, erotic fiction that started out as fan fiction derived from, in some ways, Twilight. And I'm not clear exactly how this works because it was a very short article. But Sarah's aware of it, and this woman is a housewife, mother of 2 or 3 or something, lives in Great Britain, and wrote a trilogy about this, one of the richest men on earth, who has this relationship that's BDSM with a young woman, and that's all I know about it. And this article was talking about how it's this huge hit, and it's like women are talking quietly amongst themselves about it. And Sarah apparently has read part of it, or is aware of part of it, and just was like, oh, this is just not my thing. And actually, one of the things the interesting thing she said is that indie authors, most successful indie authors are, not surprisingly, writing erotica. And there's a huge market for that, apparently. Who knew? Anyway, so I just thought that was interesting based on your comment. So let's talk about soccer and MLS. I watched the LA Portland game, and actually I watched large sections of many other games. I watched the highlights of all the games except for, I think, was it DC? Who was DC playing? It was New England, I think. I didn't watch that one, but I watched most of the Sporting KC and RSL game. And the guy you're talking about is Kyle Beckerman, the dreadlocked guy for RSL. And man, I mean, he's a really good player. I really like Beckerman. I think people hate him for the most part because he's always got this look on his face like he's angry, and he complains to the ref. He's the captain of the team, I think. But he's a smart player, and he's got a real bite to his game, but he makes some just beautiful passes. I mean, he's got a real feel for the game that I really like. Anyway, I remember the play you're talking about when Kai Kamara is outside the box and the RSL guy comes over him. But I got to tell you, having watched SKC play several times, they play really, really physically. And it's interesting because when I think that the league is kind of letting them play that way. They play, in a way where, Kai Kamara in particular. Well, Kamara. Who's the other guy? Who's a rookie last year? May have been a rookie of the year. The other forward, but they've got a lot of big, strong guys who are really athletic, and they just beat on people. And Kamara is one of those guys who just beats on people. And but it's interesting because he's very physical, and then he'll all of a sudden take a dive. Like, oh, somebody breathed on me. I'm curious because that style of play, they end up he almost scored against the Galaxy, and he and AJ De La Garza are running back towards goal. And, whether or not he intended to, he clips AJ De La Garza's legs, and De La Garza goes down, and all of a sudden Kai Kamara is in on goal by himself. They're both chasing a ball back, and De La Garza had the positioning on him, and the ref didn't call it. And that type of play is something that Kamara seems to get away with. There's the Red Bulls have a player, Dane Richards, who is kind of a smaller guy. He's Jamaican. He's really fast, but he plays really physically as well. And he's one of those guys who, if the ref is calling it, the physical play, he's really ineffective. But if the ref just lets him play, he tends to just get away with stuff where he knocks people down or he outmuscles people for the ball. And he's not that big of a guy, but so it's interesting. I mean, so much of the success, I think, of SKC, I think they're the best team in the league right now. Well, there's no question they are. But it'll be interesting to see as the season goes on if the style of play that they use ends up getting punished. They've played tons of games at home, and they tend to get the calls when they're at home, when they're playing that real physical style. And it'll be interesting to see when they go on the road what happens. So the LA PDX game, it was a good game. The 3-1 scoreline may have flattered LA a little bit, although they did dominate shots and shots on goal. The goal, I agree, the Donovan goal was really nice. And as a team, actually there's a video online where Greg Lawless breaks down the goal and spends about 2 minutes talking about what happened there. But it was a really nice team goal, and that you're right that that's a typical Donovan finish where he doesn't do anything particularly spectacular, but he hits the ball just right in order to he's a guy who plays the percentages, so he doesn't do these crazy shots. You don't have a lot of highlight plays for him, but he just tries to play the percentages, and it works pretty well. That Beckham goal, you're right. I mean, actually, it's funny because after the game, he said, yeah, that was a horrible first touch, and if I hadn't made that horrible first touch, I probably would have never taken the shot, which is funny because so he touched it so far in front of him that he just had to sprint out to get it, and he really had nothing. There was nothing he could do but shoot at that point because the defender's moving up on him at speed, and he wasn't going to dribble by the guy. So he ends up putting it in. So that was nice. The Juninho goal, yeah, I mean, that was it was kind of a scrappy, the ball pops out, and Portland failed to close him. But the thing I'd like you did you watch the New York San Jose game where Rafa Marquez pancaked Shea Salinas, and turns out he broke Salinas' collarbone into 4 pieces. And so Salinas has had to have surgery and screws put into it, and is out for at least six to 8 weeks. And if you watch the replays of that, and Marquez bear hugs Salinas. It's a corner kick before the ball comes, runs out, pushes him down, and then jumps on top of him. And then as he's going over him, kicks him. I suspect, will be interesting to see, I suspect the MLS disciplinary committee is going to suspend Marquez for a while. But, that kind of play, I mean, the thing is, like, the tackling somebody, you wish the referees would call PKs on those plays, because, there was a game last season where LA was playing somebody. I can't remember if it was LA or it was another. I don't know. There was a team that I was kind of following and rooting for, and the other team, every time the ball came in for a corner kick, I mean, they would just literally put their arms around our guys and just wrestle them to the ground, and the referee wasn't calling it, and the referee doesn't want to call a penalty kick on that, and the defenders are taking advantage of it, and I think that at some point they're going to have to step in and do that. Now, this thing with Marquez, that the problem is that he didn't just wrap the guy up; he jumped on him when he was on the ground, and it was he launched himself, got his feet up off the ground and launched himself, so he landed full weight on Salinas, and I looked at that and I'm like, he's doing that. He's deliberately. I don't know if he's trying to injure him, but he's at least trying to physically dominate him and let him know he's been physically dominated and crushed. And the whole play is illegal, and there was no call at all. And the reason it's illegal is because you get your collar broken by that kind of play. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with him. Other news, I'm looking forward to coming to visit you and play music at your birthday party. Let's see. Sarah and I are getting ready to go to Wales, which is a month after I come visit you. And actually, we were talking the other night, and she has plans to do video blogging through the whole trip. And she's going to post videos on her blog site. So because we're likely to visit multiple castles in a day, and she wants to actually, I think she's going to write up little descriptions of each castle and what or location and where they are in her books at various times. And so we decided that we needed to get a decent video camera. So we ordered it yesterday. It should be here tomorrow. So maybe my next video will be on our new camcorder, which cost us a buttload of money. But it's a tax write-off because it's for her. We're going to use it to make these videos, and actually I have no doubt that this is going to be a useful marketing tool. It's not a marketing tool. It's just a cool thing. You say marketing tool, but it's one of those things where, how cool is it if you can actually, talk about the history of the site and make a little video about it that relates to, the stories and the characters in your books. I don't know. I think it's cool. And I think it's interesting because, she's doing really well with her books, and so she makes some decisions based on how to sell books, but it's all about the history and the story, and she just really enjoys that, and I think it's cool too. So I'm fascinated with that. Anyway, sorry I've rambled again here. I'm going to end up here. I'd like to know how Nikki's doing. I know you're busy, Nikki. I will. So I'll be leaving a week from today. I guess a week from tomorrow to come visit you in Minnesota. I'm looking forward to it until I talk to you again. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I tried to look for that video response you were talking about to the discussion of religion and philosophy and science and all that stuff, and I couldn't find it on our channel. So if there was an email, I don't get those emails, you get them. So if there's an email, can you forward it to me so I can watch the video? I couldn't find it anywhere on our channel. I don't know, maybe it's been taken down or something. But anyway, I will talk to you before long. Till then, still dead.